We spend our entire lives running, running for happiness, running for money, running for approval. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, where am I running to? From the moment we wake up, we're chasing something. A better job, a bigger house, a newer phone. We chase and chase until the chase becomes our identity. And then one day, life whispers, time's up. And we realize we were so busy chasing, we forgot to live. Money is powerful, yes. It feeds us, secures us, and can even buy comfort, but it cannot buy peace. It cannot buy a night of real sleep when your soul is restless. We tell ourselves, once I earn more, I'll finally be happy. But happiness doesn't wait at the end of your bank statement. It's hidden in the moments you overlook every day. The smile of your child, the silence of dawn, the warmth of someone who truly cares. We ignore these treasures while chasing numbers that never stop growing. Modern life sold us a lie. Happiness is a goal. It's not. Happiness is a state of being, not a destination. When you chase it, it runs. When you pause and live with meaning, it comes closer. We scroll, we compare, we feel behind. Because everyone seems happier, richer, more successful. But no one posts their loneliness, their anxiety, their nights of self-doubt. We chase illusions and call them goals. You sacrifice your youth to build wealth, then spend your wealth trying to recover your health. You ignore your loved ones to make a future for them, and when you finally look back, they've already grown distant. Life is cruel only to those who forget its balance, because every minute you trade for something, you're also losing something you can never get back, time. There comes a moment, maybe at 30, 40, or 70, when you realize all that you chased was temporary. The house, the title, the fame, none of it fills the emptiness inside. You begin to see that true happiness was never out there. It was always in here, in gratitude. In presence, in simplicity. The richest person isn't the one who has the most. It's the one who needs the least. Don't stop chasing, but change what you chase. Chase growth, chase peace, chase the person you are meant to become. Chase experiences, not possessions. Chase impact, not income. Because one day when you look back, you'll realize life was never about reaching the finish line. It was about how deeply you lived while running. If you spend your life chasing happiness and money, you'll wake up one day realizing life quietly passed away. So, slow down, breathe, be present in the small moments, because real happiness doesn't shout, it whispers. And only those who stop running long enough can hear it. We live in a time where everyone is running, running without pause, without direction, without reflection. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning, a race begins, the race to be better, faster, richer, and more recognized. We run from one deadline to another, from one dream to another, but rarely stop to ask, where is all this leading me? The tragedy of our age isn't that people fail. It's that they succeed in things that never truly mattered. We are told from childhood that life is a competition, that success means being ahead of others. So, we start running early. We chase grades, then jobs, then promotions, then status symbols, as if the finish line will finally reward us with peace. But the finish line keeps moving, doesn't it? Every time we reach a goal, a new one appears, and we keep chasing, believing the next milestone will finally make us feel complete. But it never does, because the truth is, the chase itself has become our addiction. We have mistaken motion for meaning. We are constantly busy, but rarely fulfilled. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor, bragging about how little we sleep and how hard we work, as if burning ourselves out is proof that we're living well. But deep inside, we know something's off. There's a quiet emptiness, a feeling that despite all our running, we're standing still. We are surrounded by noise, yet starved of peace. We have more connections than ever, yet feel lonelier than ever. The race of modern life is cruel because it doesn't tell you what you're losing while you run. You lose time, precious, irreversible time. You lose moments with family, genuine laughter with friends, the silence that helps you think clearly. You lose yourself in the process of trying to become someone else's idea of success. You look in the mirror one day and realize the person staring back is a stranger, a version of you that's efficient, productive, admired, but not alive. We often believe we're running toward happiness, but in reality, we're running away from stillness. Because stillness forces us to face the truth that maybe we don't know who we are without the chase. Maybe we've built our worth on achievements because we're afraid to see our value without them, and that realization terrifies us. But here's the truth most people realize too late. Life was never meant to be a race. It was meant to be a journey, one that's experienced, not conquered. The moments you rush through are the ones you'll someday wish to relive. The laughter you postpone, the peace you delay, the love you ignore, they all fade while you're busy chasing something you thought was more important. The saddest part, many people reach the end of the race and only then realize there was never a finish line, only life itself, waiting patiently for them to stop running and finally live. Money, the one thing almost everyone is chasing, it promises comfort, power, and freedom. It tells us, if you have enough of me, you'll never worry again. So we believe it. We dedicate years, sometimes our whole lives, to earning it, collecting it, and protecting it. But no one tells us that money, while necessary, is never enough. It can buy almost everything except the very things we truly need. You can buy a soft bed but not peaceful sleep. You can buy medicine but not health. You can buy company but not love. The illusion begins early. Society teaches us to measure our worth in numbers, our salary, our possessions, our lifestyle. We begin to equate happiness with wealth, as if emotions could be purchased like luxury brands. We tell ourselves, once I have more, I'll finally be content. But the truth is, the more we earn, the more we want. The appetite grows, the emptiness deepens. It's a silent hunger that no amount of money can satisfy, because what we're really craving isn't luxury, it's peace. Money is like a mirage in the desert. From far away, it looks like water, something that will quench our thirst for happiness. But as we get closer, we realize it's just an illusion. The more we chase, the farther it seems to move. And in that chase, we sacrifice the very things that once made us feel alive, our relationships, our health, our joy in small things. We work longer hours to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't even like, while losing touch with the people who actually care about us. We live in a culture that glorifies the rich but ignores the peaceful. A man with a fortune is celebrated. A man with contentment is forgotten. But ask yourself, who sleeps better at night? Who wakes up grateful, not fearful? The one who has everything yet feels nothing, or the one who has little but lives fully? True happiness doesn't live in your bank account, it lives in your heart. It's in your ability to enjoy the sunrise without needing to own it, to laugh without reason, to give without expecting anything in return. The greatest tragedy is when people trade their peace for wealth and call it ambition. There's nothing wrong with wanting to succeed, but success without inner peace is failure in disguise. Because the day will come when you realize that all the money you earned can't buy back the moments you missed. It can't buy back the time you spent worrying instead of living. Money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. Use it to build, not to define yourself. Let it serve your life, not steal it, because the real measure of wealth is not how much you have, but how little you need to feel complete. And that kind of richness no currency on earth can buy. Comparison, the silent thief of peace. It creeps into our minds so subtly that we barely notice when it begins, but once it does, it consumes everything. We live in a world that constantly shows us what others have, what we lack, and what we should be. We open our phones and instantly step into a marketplace of illusions, perfect lives, perfect faces, perfect success stories. And without realizing it, we start measuring our worth against a highlight reel of someone else's life. We see a person smiling in a luxury car, and suddenly our own ride feels smaller. We see someone celebrating success, and our own progress feels slower. But what we forget is that people show the best version of their life, not the truth. Behind that perfect smile might be anxiety. Behind that expensive vacation might be emptiness. Behind those followers and fame might be a heart that feels invisible. Yet we compare our reality with their appearance, and we lose every time. Comparison blinds us. It shifts our focus from what we have to what we don't. Instead of counting blessings, we start counting what's missing. It makes us feel like failures, not because we are, but because someone else seems to be ahead. But life was never meant to be a race against others. It's a journey meant to be walked at your own pace. What's the point of winning a race that was never yours to begin with? Every person you envy is struggling with something you can't see. The one who looks happiest might be fighting loneliness. The one who looks strongest might be breaking inside. When you compare, you don't just lose appreciation, you lose authenticity. You start becoming a copy of someone else, forgetting that your uniqueness was your greatest gift. Social media has made it almost impossible to feel satisfied. We scroll through an endless stream of achievements, new jobs, new homes, new relationships, and feel as if our lives are behind schedule. But life isn't meant to be lived on a schedule. It's meant to be lived with sincerity. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply moving on a different timeline designed for you. The moment you stop comparing, you start living. You begin to see the beauty in your own journey, the lessons that shaped you, the battles you survived, the growth no one noticed. Peace enters when comparison leaves. The sun doesn't compare itself to the moon. Both shine in their own time. So why should you measure your light by someone else's glow? When you learn to celebrate others without questioning your own worth, that's when real freedom begins. Because happiness doesn't come from being better than others, it comes from being better than who you were yesterday. And the only person you should ever compete with is the person staring back at you in the mirror. There's a hidden price behind every dream we chase, but most of us never stop to calculate it. We are taught to pursue success at any cost, to work harder, longer, faster, believing that the reward will justify the struggle. But what if the cost turns out to be greater than the reward? What if, in the process of building a life, we quietly destroy the very life we were meant to live? We spend our youth chasing wealth, and by the time we have it, our health has begun to fade. We sacrifice family time to build a future for them, but by the time we're ready to enjoy it, they've moved on, living lives that no longer include us. We exchange moments of laughter for meetings, sunsets for screens, conversations for deadlines, and convince ourselves that it's all temporary, that we'll make time later. But later never comes. Life doesn't wait for us to finish our chase. It keeps moving quietly, relentlessly. The irony is that we often pursue success to give ourselves more freedom, financial, emotional, personal, yet the deeper we get into the chase, the more trapped we become. We start measuring our worth by achievements and forget that achievements were meant to serve us, not define us. We tell ourselves, once I reach this point, I'll finally relax, but when we reach it, another point appears. Another target, another goal, another reason to postpone peace. It becomes an endless cycle of running without rest, of earning without enjoying, of living without feeling alive. Time is the most expensive currency we have, and yet it's the one we spend most carelessly. You can earn money back, rebuild a career, or restart a business, but you can never rewind a moment. You can't buy back your child's childhood, your parents' old age, or the energy of your younger self. These are the invisible costs of the chase, the things we don't notice until they're gone. And when they're gone, no amount of success can replace them. The world tells us that sacrifice is noble, and it is, but not when you sacrifice your soul, not when you lose your peace in exchange for possessions, not when you confuse being busy with being productive. A rich life is not the one filled with wealth, it's the one filled with meaning. What good is a beautiful house if the people inside it feel empty? What good is a full wallet when the heart feels bankrupt? There comes a moment, sometimes too late, when we realize that what we were chasing wasn't wrong, but how we chased it was. We were meant to work hard, yes, but not at the cost of our joy, our relationships, our health, our presence. The true cost of the chase is not in what you gain or lose, but in what you forget along the way, to simply be here, alive, in this fleeting moment called life. There comes a time in every life when the noise begins to fade, the noise of ambition, comparison, and endless desire, and what's left is silence. That silence feels unfamiliar at first, almost uncomfortable, because for so long we've defined ourselves by motion. But in that stillness, something powerful happens. We begin to see life as it truly is, not as we imagined it to be. We start questioning the purpose behind all our chasing, and for the first time, we see how much we've lost while trying to gain everything. The awakening moment doesn't come with fireworks, it comes quietly. Maybe it arrives when you're sitting alone after years of running, or when you achieve what you thought would complete you, and yet feel the same emptiness inside. Maybe it comes when a loved one leaves, or when time forces you to slow down. Whatever form it takes, it shakes your foundation, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you with truth. It's the moment when you realize that happiness was never hiding in your achievements, it was waiting for you in your awareness. We spend so many years chasing after more money, more respect, more recognition, and yet when we finally get them, we ask, is this all there is? That question isn't born from disappointment, it's born from awakening. It's the soul whispering that there's something deeper, something more meaningful than success itself. Because the truth is, you can win every race and still feel lost if you never understood why you were running in the first place. In that awakening, gratitude takes the place of greed. You begin to see beauty in simplicity, in a quiet morning, in an honest conversation, in a moment of peace with yourself. You no longer chase what glitters, you seek what gives light. You start valuing time over trophies, memories over milestones. You stop performing life and begin living it. And that shift changes everything, how you speak, how you love, how you see the world. When you awaken, you stop asking, what can I get from life? And start asking, what can I give to it? You stop searching for happiness as if it's hiding somewhere far away and realize it's been waiting inside you all along. The smile of your child, the presence of your parents, the breath you're taking right now, these were never small things. You just didn't notice them before. The awakening moment is both painful and liberating. Painful because it shows you the truth you've avoided. Liberating because it frees you from the lies you've believed. It's the point where life stops being a chase and becomes a choice to live deeply, not quickly, to love fully, not conditionally, to be present, not distracted. That's when you finally understand you never needed more from life. You only needed to be more alive in it. At some point, you realize that the problem was never the chase itself. It was what you were chasing. Life was never meant to be about running endlessly toward material success. It was about moving meaningfully toward inner growth. The truth is, we all need something to chase. It keeps us alive, curious, and motivated. But the tragedy is that most people spend their entire lives chasing shadows, wealth without wisdom, status without soul, success without peace. They run after things that sparkle but never shine, forgetting that not everything that glitters is gold. To redefine the chase is to wake up to a new kind of purpose, one that isn't built on greed, but on growth. It's to shift your focus from accumulating things to accumulating meaning. When you stop chasing validation from the world, you start finding value within yourself. You begin to understand that happiness is not about having everything you want. It's about appreciating everything you have. The real race is not against others, but against your own limitations, your fears, your excuses, your self-doubt. That's where true victory lies. We've been taught to chase success, not significance. Yet, when you're gone, no one will remember how much you earned. They'll remember how you made them feel. People don't build statues for those who had the biggest bank accounts. They remember those who had the biggest hearts. So why waste your one precious life chasing numbers that mean nothing when you can chase impact that outlives you? There's a peace that comes when you stop competing and start creating. When you no longer run to prove something to the world, but to express something from your soul. That's when work stops being a burden and becomes a blessing. That's when you realize you don't have to run faster, you just have to run truer. You start pursuing purpose, not pressure, connection, not comparison. You stop living to impress and start living to inspire. Redefining the chase doesn't mean abandoning ambition, it means aligning it. It's about working hard but with heart. It's about chasing success that feels right, not just looks right. Because success without peace is failure wearing a mask. When your goals align with your values, every step becomes lighter. You no longer run for approval, you move with intention. You no longer seek happiness at the finish line, you find it in every stride along the way. One day, when you look back, you won't remember how fast you ran, but how deeply you lived. You'll remember the moments that made you feel alive, not the trophies, but the truths. Redefine your chase now before life does it for you. Because at the end, it won't matter how far you went, only how true you were to the person you were meant to become. And that, more than anything else, is the real victory.